Today I want to talk about probably the most common movement flaw or movement issue that we see with our upper body training. Okay, and it's the same thing for a press or a pull action in the horizontal plane. And that is what is happening with our shoulder blade, especially in relation to where our upper arm bone, the humeral bone, slash the elbow ends up into. Okay, and because what ends up happening with that is if those two things don't align, we get a lot of issue with the shoulder joint itself, mainly in the front of that shoulder. So if you talk to a lot of individuals that are gym goers or athletes or just individuals who are active, a lot of them will express that they have pain in the front of their shoulder. And a lot of them will express that that pain gets worse with exercise and movements of pushing and pulling. And the reason being is what ends up happening within the joint itself. So the shoulder is a ball and socket joint. So you have the socket, you have the ball that sits inside there. So the socket of what is placed into the shoulder blade that creates this, what's called the glenoid fossa. And then you have the head of the humeral bone that sits inside the socket. You want those two things to stay congruent as that arm moves up and down. Okay, so what ends up happening a lot of the times is that the shoulder blade is actually into an irregular position or suboptimal position. And because of that, as I'm moving, the head of my humerus, my upper arm bone, starts to kind of glide out of socket. And most of the time, it glides forward, okay? So for a couple examples here, we'll kind of show, again, what the main kind of issues that we see. Let's take a horizontal rowing, okay? So if we take a band row, we come in here, and if I go to row this band and my shoulder blade does not go back with me, okay? So if my shoulder blade stays rotated forward, then what we see when we get to this end range of our row is the humeral head pushes forward. Okay, and that's going to impinge all the structures that are in front of that shoulder, creating friction, which creates an inflammation issue, which then creates pain. Okay? Or you could actually have a mechanical impingement where as I'm doing it, it's like, ooh, that doesn't feel good either. Okay? So again, what ends up happening, shoulder stays forward, and I come back, I have this forward pop. Okay? You could also get the shoulder blade moving well, so the shoulder blade comes around my back like we want to, and I finish here, now we're in a good position. A lot of individuals will want more because more is always better, and I end up going here. Okay, so even though my shoulder blade ends up in a good spot to finish, my elbow goes too far back in relation to my shoulder blade, and the humeral head now again pops forward. Okay, again, putting pressure on the front of that shoulder. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to make sure that we're kind of synchronizing the motion with our shoulder blade and our arm at the same time. So my shoulder blade starts to move across, arm comes with it, and I stop when I'm in this nice vertical plane with my arm bone, and my shoulder blade is in its end range position. I don't want to go too much further, because there again, I end up in that forward position. The other thing though, the other extreme of this is like, okay, hey, now we know we want to get that shoulder blade back. What we don't want to do though is keep it there. So we'll see a lot of athletes and individuals, they get back, and then they keep their shoulder blade pinned back, and they just start pumping through that arm. So the shoulder blade never moves out. Okay? And if that shoulder blade is pinned back, and I start to just move through the arm, again, what we're getting there with the ball and socket is the shoulder blade stays there, and now my ball and socket, that the ball is kind of moving in and out and creating issues. So we don't want to be forward, but we also don't want to be just pinned back moving through. So that could be a band row, could be a suspension row, TRX, could be a dumbbell row, same thing. A lot of athletes, when we watch this, they'll go, they're good, but then they end up wanting to go more, and they end up in that dump forward position, or again, my shoulder blade stays out, and I just kind of pull with the arm, we're going to end up in that same poor position forward. Okay, so I want to think about my shoulder coming across, elbow finishes right in line with that back, and now that's that proper position. So that's the pulling or the rowing. Same thing can occur when we press. Okay, so if we go back to a pressing action, go back to the band here. So I'm going to press, and I want to think about my humeral head and my shoulder blade alignment. When I go out, shoulder blade comes out a little bit. When I come back, shoulder blade comes back with me. If my shoulder blade stays out as I come back, now we have that forward position again of that anterior glide in the shoulder. Okay, so I want to come out, I want my shoulder blade to come back, but here again, I want to stop in this good alignment. If I glide back, which again a lot of us will do, where I'm trying to get a little extra quote unquote range of motion, now I'm getting the range of motion from the improper position. Okay, so again, I'm pressing out, shoulder blade comes out with me, I come back, elbow stops right in line with that shoulder blade in the back, and come back in. So there's a proper press. Again, same exact thing can happen when we're pressing with a dumbbell. Okay, so let's say we're pressing from the floor, which actually is a little bit better to prevent this from happening. So if I come back into it, okay, the floor kind of acts as a barrier, but I can still, as I come down, if I don't pull my shoulder blade back, I can get this forward popping of my shoulder off the ground, and putting pressure into the front of my shoulder. Okay, so when I press, I'm out, shoulder blade comes out just a little bit with me, and then when I come back, I want to slide that shoulder blade underneath myself, so now I'm in this neutral position. If I were on a bench here, I would actually have the ability to go too far down, right? So I don't want to, if I was on a bench and I'm coming back, I don't want to drop down and let my elbow come below that line, because again, there's that negative position on that shoulder, increasing the pressure, the friction, the joint pressure on the anterior part of that, the front of that shoulder, increasing pain. Okay, so the principle there, guys, is we want to make sure that that shoulder blade, again, moves well, moves with us. We want to make sure that the elbow stops right in line when that shoulder blade stops. If I try to get too much, I'm going to get way too much pressure in the front, or if I'm not moving my shoulder blade enough, I'm just getting pressure in the front right away. Okay, so take that principle, use it on any pressing, any rowing motion, horizontal press or horizontal pull, and that should help clean up the shoulder position, help clean up any issues that you might be having in the front of the shoulder, and obviously increase our resiliency and decrease our potential for pain and or other issues down the road. Yeah, so again, make sure you do that stuff, move well, train hard, just keep on moving athletic.